The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, interactive.
What's going on, guys? Lee Sanders here, and you are checking out the return of Impact Showdown, covering all things Impact Wrestling, Impact News, and beyond. This is a series that has been on hiatus for a long time. Once in a blue moon, we would do one-off specials where we would cover Impact Wrestling pay-per-view events, but for the most part, the series has been on a indefinite hiatus. Those of you that have been long-time listeners of particularly my other show, the RCWR show with Lee Sanders, that airs weekly every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern after SmackDown goes off the air. We cover the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond, and been doing so since 2011 while bringing on board some awesome guests. We were experiencing some serious growing pains with the Impact product, and it got me to a point where morale-wise, I just felt extremely low, even though I would still religiously watch the product, but I just lost a lot of faith in it. And when I say they have been going through some growing pains these past couple of years, they really have been, but with Don Callis, Scott D'Amore, Anthem Entertainment coming in, I would just have to say that 2018 was really the year that Impact Wrestling had won me back over with weekly consistency. And any longtime listener will tell you I have been singing the praises of Impact management, and I've been saying nothing but yes, keep at it, keep at it, keep at it, to the point I've even encouraged listeners to give Impact Wrestling another chance. And I've toyed with the idea for a while that I could bring back Impact Showdown, just really depends. So I did something cool this weekend, which was I put up a poll on YouTube. You guys can access this poll on youtube.com/the RCWR show. And the poll is basically asking you, hey, with regards to Impact Showdown returning, how would you like the series to operate? And you have three options. The first option is audio podcasts to download later as Impact ends at 12 a.m. on Saturday mornings, right? Comes on at 10 p.m. Friday nights, but it doesn't go off until 12 a.m. Saturday. And most people, either they're getting ready to go to bed, or maybe, just maybe, they have to get up and go to work, or honestly, maybe they're not home during that time because they're out clubbing, they're hanging out with friends. Who knows? But that's really usually a very difficult time. I think we all can be honest, right? You have that option. And then you have the second option, come on in live audio format soon as Impact ends, right? So as soon as Impact Wrestling ends, you guys could just maybe access the RCWR show app for free via the Google Play Store, or via Spreaker. I would come on live and you could hear live audio soon as Impact goes off the air. And then your last option, audio and live webcast as soon as Impact ends, please. So basically you would get a webcast. You'd see me in the flesh, hear me, all that. All right. So get on in there. The voting is still early. I just created it not even less than a day ago. And maybe this is something we can revisit in the coming week and see where you guys are. So, but yes, Impact Showdown is back, talking about all things Impact Wrestling, and you guys hold its future in the palm of your hands as far as how you would like to see this series continue on. So do vote, and thank you kindly for voting. So without any further ado, man, hey, look, Impact Wrestling, they have, as I said, been having growing pains. The deal with Pop TV, it came to an end. Pop TV, they decided that they wanted to go in a slightly more different direction. And let's be honest, when you look at a lot of the programming that comes on Pop TV, it's really aimed towards females. They have a lot of reality shows, Big Brother, and they're in that whole Temptation Island and Bachelorette and all that other stuff. You see the statistics as far as their demographics goes for who their main target audience is. So Impact, sadly, they never were really in a good position on Pop TV where they could truly thrive. Let's be honest, okay? And so for them to go to Anthem's Pursuit channel, right? Because Anthem does own a good sized portion of stake with regards to that channel. It's actually a really good fit because now Anthem is in a position where they can really help mold Impact Wrestling, get it to the point that it needs to be at, to basically make it a more pleasing to the eye package in hopes that eventually they can put it on a grander scale network. And I'm just a little bit curious of the networks that might have showed interest in Impact, how many of them were strongly considering it, but then backed away at the last minute. I would love to know what was going on with some of those networks that they supposedly were talking to, but they are fresh off of their Homecoming pay-per-view event. And for those of you that did not get a chance to hear my thoughts on the Homecoming pay-per-view, I talked about it for several minutes on this past week's RCWR show. So when you get done with this episode, do yourselves a favor, pick you on back, check that out. That was a deluxe episode that we gave you guys too. It was about 3 hours, but I'm telling you, the first 40 minutes was non-wrestling related, but for the rest of the show, it was slam dunk, nothing but wrestling. All right. And we showed a lot of love to Impact Wrestling as far as news coverage goes. But Impact Wrestling, fresh off of Homecoming, bringing us the new era of Impact on the Pursuit channel. And I loved it. And I tell you, kudos to Impact Wrestling, because Impact Wrestling, they realized when they made this move to the Pursuit channel, I'm sure that they took a look at what all people were saying on social media, podcasters such as myself, everybody, about, wait a minute, you guys are on this new channel and majority of us don't get this channel. For me, my particular case, look, I'm already paying over $200 a month for bundled internet and cable, and my bill, it's a little bit over $200. I have a very high internet package because of all the type of streaming that I do, not just for the show, but other stuff as well. So that's how high my bill is. And just to be able to gain access to the Pursuit channel with Verizon, I would have had to pay an additional $14, and it's like, ugh. So I really appreciate the fact that Anthem/Impact decided, okay, you know what? Well, on top of streaming on the Pursuit channel, let's also simulcast on Twitch. Anybody that has a game console, a Roku, or a phone, a desktop, a tablet, no excuse, you can access Impact Wrestling on Twitch. And it was a very damn good concept. So I did not watch Impact Wrestling on the Pursuit channel itself. I watched it on Twitch, and I gotta tell you, I loved it. I fed off of the energy that was coming via Twitch, because at one point, I would like to say the peak of people checking out the Impact on Twitch stream, I believe it had reached, I think it reached maybe 15,000. If I'm not mistaken. I know at one point I saw it at about 9,400, but I want to say it got up to about 15,000. And the people that were interacting in the chat, somebody had a funny joke. They said there's more people in the chat than there actually is on this pre-taped episode that we're watching right now. And we all had a chuckle like, yeah, that's actually a good point. You know, it wasn't a dig at Impact per se, but it was just one of those, yeah, that's a damn good point. But it was a really awesome experience feeding off of the energy that was coming via Twitch. And that's how I'm regularly going to be checking out the episodes, honestly. So for those of you that maybe want to interact with me, I mean, good luck trying to find me on Twitch, because by the time you try to read a comment, boom, like they're already moving on to, I mean, it's just ridiculous how fast the chat in there operates. So first Impact Wrestling of 2019, new era on the Pursuit channel, fresh off the heels of Homecoming. things had kicked off with a pretty good, solid opener as far as I was concerned. The night had began with Johnny Impact coming out to the ring saying how the Impact World Heavyweight Championship to him is very important. It is sacred. It is an honor. It is a privilege. It is a duty. But where he draws the line with regards to the Impact Championship, the second thing that is the most important to him, equal to that title, is his wife. Johnny would go on to say that Taya Valkyrie has been in the hospital ever since Killer Kross had attacked her at Homecoming, and we all can definitely have a hearty ass laugh now with regards to what Killer Kross had did, picking her up, power bombing her. That was nothing because, I mean, she basically had landed on a pillow. You might as well should say that because you had like 10 freaking guys that were right there to break her freaking fall. I mean, it was basically, wee! You kind of feel like the little piggy in the Geico commercial. Wee! 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 You know, it's like, okay, whatever, but we get it. We'll go ahead. We'll stick to this. Go ahead, Johnny. So yes, Taya Valkyrie has supposedly been in the hospital. Impact demands for Kross to come on out and explain what the hell the problem is and where the hell does he get off putting his hands on his wife. From there, we didn't get Kross. We actually got Brian Cage. He came out and interrupted. Cage had told Impact that Kross is the least thing that should be on his mind right now. Because as far as Cage is concerned, he would have beaten him at Homecoming if it wasn't for his Survivor buddies. Cage demanded a rematch for the title, but Johnny Impact refused, saying that it's not about the title right now. You would be more than happy to oblige, work this out at a later date, but right now, his mind is on Killer Kross. Cage says he doesn't care about Valkyrie because Impact never cared about Cage's sacrifices. Now, see, this is where it gets really weird for me, and I believe in something called storyline consistency, right? So just stay with me for a couple of minutes here, all right? This is not long-winded. With Impact Showdown, we give it to you, we're in, we're out. That's how we've always been with Impact Showdown, and that's how we're going to continue to do it. So this is not one of those hour-long recaps, and I'm surprised. Well, there are actually people that do 2-hour Impact Wrestling recaps. My God, I don't see how they do that. I would rather be more loose. I would rather be talking about Impact, give you guys some Impact news, some rumors. I would like to do all that stuff, but to hear somebody doing a 2-hour show on Impact Wrestling, their thoughts on Impact Wrestling, I would just rather watch the damn show if I got 2 hours to kill. My God. Anyway, to each its own. But look, storyline consistency. So for those of you that maybe missed the gaps, a couple of weeks ago, we had a situation come about where Taya Valkyrie had got some type of a beatdown or something like that. I can't remember who the opponents were, but I do remember Brian Cage had came in and he was helping out Taya Valkyrie. We saw a situation occur where Johnny Impact came and he was checking on his wife. And then you got Cage on one side, you've got Johnny Impact out on the other side, Valkyrie's in the middle, and I distinctly remember Don Callis and Josh Matthews basically saying, oh, Brian Cage and Taya Valkyrie, they go back to best of friends, blah, 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 blah. So then we see a situation come about towards the end of this episode, right? This was like the final segment, all this is going on. Cage, Johnny Impact lock eyes on each other, they stand up, and they are just looking cold-heartedly at each other. And Taya stands up. She's in the middle still, and she kind of separates the two like, hey, guys, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. And so I couldn't help but go back to that moment, home in on what Josh and Don were saying about Taya and Brian Cage's relationship, how they go back. And then to hear Brian Cage basically say what he said on this episode, I mean, home in on that. Cage saying he doesn't care about Valkyrie because Impact never cared about Cage's sacrifices. That is just, That is wild. So I would like to believe, if we're going to go with story consistency, I would like to believe once Taya does come back, me personally, if I'm writing this, I would like to see a backstage segment where Taya and Brian cross paths and Taya basically says, hey, I saw and heard what you had said a couple of weeks ago. So you don't care about me anymore? I thought we were friends. What the hell? And I would really just like to see something come about there where Brian really sets the record straight with regards to whatever friendship, whatever personal connection that he and Taya had, just so we can kind of clean that up a little bit. So in either case, finally, Johnny would reluctantly accept the challenge from Cage. But then we see Killer Kross come out. Now, Kross comes into the scene, tells the audience that Impact is an imposter. Johnny Impact, that is. Kross tells Impact that Cage had him pinned for a count of 10, but Impact still comes out and claims he's champion. Now, Kross admits that from what he's seeing of Johnny so far, he loves the change in attitude, and that as soon as Taya is out of the hospital, he plans on putting her ass right back in there. And we see Johnny go freaking berserk, and he super kicks the hell out of Brian Cage in the ring, does a suicide dive over the top rope, takes out Kross. Kross, he tries to hurry into the ring, lick off his wounds, but Impact goes after him. Cage nails Impact with a mean-ass clothesline. Kross then cheap shots Cage, but Cage is unfazed, gets up in his face. Kross, he's slowly exiting the whole situation as Cage is posing with the title. So all that's going on. Meanwhile, backstage, we see that Impact is being checked on by trainers when suddenly Cage bursts in, throws the producers and everyone around screaming how he wants this rematch. Impact tells him that he's going to get his rematch, but Impact has to first focus on taking out Killer Kross. He gives Cage his word that the next Impact World title match is his. And Cage very passionately gets up in the face of Johnny and tells him he better not screw him this go round. So we got our first matchup of the night. We saw the Lucha Brothers, Phoenix and Pentagon Jr. take on the Rascals, Zachary Wentz and Desmond Xavier. Pretty good opener. That was actually a pretty good opening matchup. Actually had enjoyed that one. It was pretty damn good. We had saw the team of the Lucha Brothers win that one. Well, I like that. It was actually pretty damn good. Next up, we had saw another backstage segment where Kross asked Impact if he knows even how to hurt him, because causing pain and hurting someone are two different things. Kross says he'll liberate him from the skin he's trapped in, and goes on to tell him tick tock as he walks off. So basically setting up their match for later on during the night. Meanwhile, Josh Matthews is standing in the middle of the ring, welcoming the new X Division champion, Rich Swann. Rich Swann dancing, shucking, and jiving. Cut a pretty decent promo, had called himself the No Limit Soldier of the X Division. I think he's got a new t-shirt there that's going to come about. We saw the Draw himself, Sammy Callahan, come out. Why was I about to call him Callahan? I have no idea. Callahan, goddammit. We saw the Draw, Sammy Callahan, come out, and he had a OVE shirt, and basically he was saying to Rich Swann, hey, come on, man, it's time. Come on back over here. You know it's time. Come on back over here like good old times. Come on. And we hear Don and Josh, they're going over this just baffled, wondering what exactly is the history between Rich Swann and Sammy Callahan. What does Sammy possibly have on Rich? Like, well, what's going on here? And as we see Sammy trying to offer a OVE shirt to Swann, Willie Mack had came out. And Sammy did not appreciate Willie Mack getting involved in his business, and we saw Sammy take a cheap shot at Willie. Swann was trying to be the peacemaker during this whole ordeal, But eventually we saw that a match was made between Sami Callihan and Willie Mack. Pretty damn good. I'm telling you, man, I've seen Willie Mack off and on over the years, but not on a consistent basis. I know he was helping out in ROH for a bit, but sadly I didn't watch enough episodes of ROH. But since he's been working in Impact Wrestling, it's the most access I've had of him to date. And I gotta tell you, I love this dude. I know he's been around for a minute now. He's a somewhat older guy. But I tell you, if I were to describe Willie Mack to somebody that has never seen Willie Mack before, but they pretty much know all their other wrestling celebrities, figures, things of that nature, I would say Willie Mack is a slower crossbreed of Samoa Joe meets Kevin Owens / Steen, Junkyard Dog. I would say a combination of those guys, and that's paying high regards. That's paying high compliments as far as I'm concerned. And every time I see this guy, I'm just amazed at the stuff that he can do for such a big guy. There was one spot during this Sami Callihan Willie Mack match that I was very concerned with. Towards the ramp, we see Callihan get ready to do a pile driver. And I know they were trying to sell how big of a boy Willie Mack was, because the first go round, Sami Callihan tried to do it. It wasn't really successful, and then it kind of seemed like it was maybe going back and forth, like Willie was trying to fight his way out of it, but eventually Sami Callihan would freaking get the pile driver and he would apply it, and I cringed when I fucking saw it because it looked very sloppy as far as I was concerned. And when I was in the chat room via Twitch talking about this with everybody else, we all at the same time were going, and that's how CTEs happen, or ouch, that did not look good, oh man, that looked like a botched move, blah this, blah that. But it seemed as though it was executed just right. It seemed as though Willie was actually okay. But yeah, that pile driver on the ramp, I was not feeling that whatsoever. Closing moments of that matchup, we had saw Callihan try to go for another pile driver, but Mack reverses it and they exchange a series of pinfall attempts. Mack goes for the stunner, gets reversed into a backslide. Callihan goes for the pile driver, but Mack sits on his shoulders and somehow manages the 1, 2, 3. Willie Mack picking up the win. After the match is over, Callihan looks irate inside the ring. Go to a backstage segment where Conan and LAX are discussing the homecoming, and we see Santana and LAX. It looks like they get Conan to admit that he was wrong, acknowledging that they kept things together and had a phenomenal matchup at homecoming. And they're celebrating by having a couple of drinks, not brews. Looks like this go around they're having a little bit of coffee. A little bit shortly after that, Callihan is seen backstage and he's pissed off. He's yelling a whole bunch of stuff that's incoherent at the Kross brothers. LAX comes walking past them and there's a confrontation that seems to suggest that we are definitely going to be seeing these teams lock it up a little bit later down the road. Scarlett Bordeaux is up next, and if you were holding on to your joystick, or you were holding on to your D-pad, nipples, or whatever you want to call them, this was your moment as Scarlett Bordeaux and came on out, and I gotta tell you, via Twitch, the views had really skyrocketed when Scarlett Bordeaux came onto the screen. So we know Scarlett Bordeaux, she's been teasing for the past several weeks, who is going to win my talent search, who's going to acquire my services, all this good stuff. But, you know, in the meantime, she feels that she needs to live up to delivering a promise, which is giving on a show to the Tennessee crowd. And she was getting ready to strip when the Desi Hit Squad came out. Oh, Lord, these guys. Ugh. Then they basically had tried to tell her, hey, look, wait until the talent search is over next week. And then, hey, look, since we know we're going to win that anyway, you can give us our own little private strip show, right? Little Tina dancer. I'm your private dancer. Dancer for money. Do what you want me to do. You know, little shit like that. So they kept trying to cover her up. It was almost like watching an Indian version of Rights to Censor in the WWE. That's literally how it felt. But Scott Steiner comes on out and he talks about how he was there for the Impact premiere on Pursuit. He also talked about how he recently did some hunting, and he was basically trying to link up hunting with the Pursuit and all that other stuff. And I was ready for him to come on out and basically say, while I was in the back, ready for Scarlett, your strip show, you guys interrupted. I'm ready to come out. I was in the pursuit of getting horny. I was ready for Scott Steiner to say something along those lines, but he kept it clean, right? Well, no, Scott Steiner came on now basically, hey, look, I'm pissed you guys are interrupting the strip show. I came out here to see this girl get her freak on, and I ain't rolling out until I get what I want. And so we saw the Sings, they tried to gang up on Scott Steiner, but he made work of them guys. Pretty much gave both of those jabronis a double Steiner recliner, and we saw Scarlett say to Scotty, hey, if all you wanted was a show, all you had to do was ask. So we saw Scott Steiner, he grabbed a steel chair in the middle of the ring, sat down, and Scarlett starts stripping. I am really under the impression that Scarlett Bordeaux cannot dance worth a damn. I mean, look, she is beautifully stunning. She definitely reminds me a lot of Tammy Sitch, aka Sunny, WWE Hall of Famer. She reminds me a lot of her, and I don't see enough people making those type of comparisons. I don't know, maybe I'm not looking in the forums and interacting enough with people when Impact is on. Hopefully I'm doing a lot better, by the way. I've been stepping it up within recent weeks, but she reminds me a lot like a young Sunny, just in the early stages, like almost like right at the beginning of Sunny's career or whatever. But yeah, I swear she cannot dance worth a damn. And it really dawned on me when I'm watching her. I'm going, oh, okay, come on, like shake it, come on, work it, dance. And she was not. It was painfully obvious that she can't dance, but you know what? Still stunningly beautiful nonetheless. So that was a fun segment. And if you see some of the interactions I had on Twitter, I had some really funny ass gifs. You got to check it out. We take a commercial break after that. We come on back. By the way, what's really cool about watching Impact on Twitch, we get to see these greatest moments in Impact Wrestling history. So like sometimes, I know at one point during the broadcast, we saw a top 5 greatest moves from Christopher Daniels, and it was, oh wow. We saw the segment where AJ Styles had won the Impact Wrestling Championship. We also saw a hidden gem match with Shinsuke Nakamura. That was really phenomenal. A short-haired Shinsuke Nakamura, nonetheless. I practically almost forgot that Shinsuke at one point was wrestling in Impact, or TNA rather. Almost forgot about that. Yeah, so as you guys are on the Pursuit channel and you're getting I kept hearing that there was a silly ass knife commercial that kept popping up for you guys. I feel so bad for you all. But over on Twitch, we didn't have any of those props. We were getting just strictly TNA/Impact Wrestling stuff, and it was pretty awesome. So once we came on back, Tessa Blanchard pretty much had a squash match against Callie Collins. Shout out to Tessa Blanchard. Friday, and I think maybe even Saturday, she was hosting on Access TV, you know, as WOW Women of Wrestling. They got their TV show that's going to be premiering on Access this coming Friday. That's Friday, January the 18th. And what a good day that is, because on top of WOW premiering on Access, We also get on Netflix an entire new season of The Punisher. I'm going to be binging like a mother when that bad boy comes out. But Tessa Blanchard, squash match, like I said, against Callie Collins. Pretty pissed off. This segment was rather odd because the match lasted about 2 minutes, right? And I was so ready. And let me make sure I really home in on this. Tessa did not just defeat this girl like it was nothing, but she did it while sending a strong message. She did it while performing Gail Kim's own eat defeat finisher for the 1, 2, 3. And she's just passionately looking at the camera like, Gail Kim, I know you're watching. All right, so I wish that it would have been a situation where Tessa would have grabbed the microphone afterwards, but when you really stop and you think about it, your Impact product like that, that's Gail's finisher. Nothing really needs to be said. So that spot, for what it was worth, I was okay with it. I still wish she would have said a little something with regards to the way that she had lost the title and everything, but hey, it is what it is. Backstage, Eddie Edwards is talking about how excited he is that he ended things with Moose at Homecoming. And he remembers how Moose took him to the edge, but now he and Kenny, the kendo stick, yes, Kenny the kendo stick, can move on. Eli Drake walks in and says that even though all of them are going through change, and after Dreamer and Abyss were the hardcore guys, Edwards sure he wants to pick up that flag and continue the hardcore legacy. So a little bit of a tease between Eddie and Eli working the program next. I am fine for that because them two guys, especially Eli Drake out of Homecoming, I'm telling you guys, if you did not watch Homecoming, you've got to go out of your way. If there was one match I could point out to you guys, go check out the Monsters Ball with Eli Drake and Abyss. That shit was on point. Seen another backstage segment where Su Yung is talking to Allie. They're in front of a bloody coffin. And Allie, you get this weird audio that's basically recapping what happened with Rosemary before she disappeared and returned at Homecoming. And on the coffin that they keep showing, it's the words, "For one more chance, rejoin the shadow." That's basically what it reads. Other than that, we had our main event match of the night, Johnny Impact taking on Killer Kross. It was a non-title, no DQ matchup, phenomenal matchup. I tell you, I was talking to Lady K, and she knows exactly who she is because she's probably going to be checking this out, most likely. So shout out to Lady K. But we were talking about Killer Kross, and I was telling her how Killer Kross, I've really started taking a liking to him, and I really didn't start coming around to him till probably about within the last 90 days. And we were going back and forth about him, and I told her straight up, I said, look, Killer Kross reminds me of a very young Dave Bautista in OVW, kind of going through that Leviathan period in Batista's career. And she came back to me afterwards. She said, I never did consider that before, but after you said what you said, yes, I can totally see that. I would agree with you and then some about how he's coming up. But this young kid, he's got a great fucking look. I love the gimmick, everything, the music, the entrance. I love this dude. I really do. What a unique, unorthodox style that this man has, and he's got a great look. At first I couldn't help but look at him in the past 90 days. I couldn't help but look at him and wonder if maybe he needs to bulk up some more, kind of like a Batista. But then it's kind of like, no, not really, because he's, for his frame and all that, he's pretty good where he is. And I remember seeing him in trunks and all that, and I know that this was a street fight, so he pretty much came accordingly dressed the way he should be dressed. I'm not really sure I like this look. I'm thinking about it, and I've seen him in trunks already. I've seen him in this type of getup. I think the future for him, it may be a situation where maybe he just needs to wear black tights, black long tights, not tights like Randy Orton tights. I mean, like, tights, spandex, right? Tights, cover the leggings and all that. I think he might need something like that with some badass designs. I think that might do a little bit better for him, give him some nice, thick, padded knees, knee pads, thick padded boots. I think stuff like that may work out for him. I'm not really sure, but hey, look, he's still continuing to try to figure the whole costume thing out. But with what he's doing right now, it works, especially since he's doing that whole dark stuff and all that. There was a silly spot that had came about outside of the ring where Kross was just going belligerently physical on Johnny Impact. And at one point, you hear the crowd say, "Kill, Kross, kill, kill, Kross, kill." And I'm thinking to myself, fuck, you guys don't realize you're going KKK, right? And I'm kicking back, I'm thinking about this, and I'm going, does Impact Wrestling, I know Don Callis was talking about a more risky, a more in your face, a more ballsy Impact product now that it's on the Pursuit channel and all that, so they don't have to deal with as much restrictions. But do we really want to go with the whole KKK? Do we really want to go in that direction? Because I can just picture neo-Nazis and KKK groups all throughout we sure do love what that Killer Kross guy is doing there, man. We sure do love what he's doing to all them other people. Yeah, Killer Kross, you go there, you show them other races why people are superior, why power. You like, I don't know if Anthem really wants that. I don't even know if the Pursuit channel execs really want that. So hopefully that was a one-time deal. But I laughed fucking hysterically when I heard the crowds chant that, because I actually kicked back as I'm laughing. I'm just picturing Pro Wrestling Tees, and I'm just going, okay, I can picture some really cool ass designs. But man, is that risky. That is risky as hell. This was a really good no DQ matchup, a good, for a non-pay-per-view matchup, for a televised, this was really, really freaking good. I had enjoyed this. Man, one point we saw these two guys, after they just beat the holy hell out of each other, they just do this stare down. And all of a sudden, I don't know who does it first, but all of a sudden, one guy grabs a steel chair, throws it in the ring. I want to say Johnny threw a steel chair in the ring first. And Killer Kross is like, hey, you want to play that game? All right, let's do that. We could do that. Killer Kross grabs a steel chair. He throws one in the ring. And it just keeps going back and forth until there's no more chairs. And then they get in the ring, each grabbing a steel chair in hand. And then chair shotco or chair shuttle, whatever the hell you want to call it. We see Killer Kross. He loses his chair. And Johnny, he just goes in on Kross, just beating the holy hell out of him with the steel chairs. We see Johnny set up some steel chairs over the body of Kross, like overlapping, covering them up. I believe he did Starship Pain from the top rope. All that shit was just sick. It was sick. And it looked as though Johnny had this match over and done with when all of a sudden we see Moose interfere. And Moose, basically, the spot that I remember, Johnny had climbed to the top turnbuckle looking for another high-risk maneuver, when then all of a sudden Moose had kind of like came up from behind, and by the time Johnny saw him, it was already too late. Moose pretty much punched him in the face, sent Johnny crashing from the top turnbuckle outside the ring through a wooden table that was already set up earlier by Impact. You guys got to forgive me, by Johnny and Killer Kross. And so Johnny just went crashing through that bad boy, and you're like, ooh, that looks really, really bad. So once Moose runs in, does that little spot, Moose eventually grabs Impact tosses him back in the ring as Kross applies the cross jacket choke until Impact fades away. Referee had no choice but to call for the match. Winner by KO was Killer Kross. As Moose and Kross, they're posing down, they're celebrating in the ring. That pretty much was your send-off as Impact Wrestling went off the air on that note. So great, strong premiere on the Pursuit channel or Twitch, however you want to look at it. I enjoyed it. This was a really, really solid episode. I can't wait to hear the TV numbers for the Pursuit premiere. In particular, I would expect that they're going to be a little bit low, but with all the buzz that Impact Wrestling have received on social media, I would like to believe that it's going to be really on point because, believe it or not, on Twitter at one point, Impact Wrestling did trend and they were part of a moment. That's something that we had here on the RCWR show with regards to the passing of Gene Okerlund. We put out something really cool about the passing of Okerlund as far as reflective memories, and that was actually part of a moment. So it's really cool when, you can't create. There has to be enough social media engagement, and boom, that's how you get part of it. And Impact Wrestling had enjoyed their time in the sun there. It was a really good premiere. It was a really, really good premiere. I'm looking forward to seeing what's coming about next week. It seemed as though we had got a really good, stronger, more mature product compared to what we would normally get on Pop TV. It seemed like they stepped it up just a little bit more as opposed to what we get on Pop. So I'm ecstatic. I'm very ecstatic. Can't wait for more. More, please. That's all I gotta say. More, please. Not too much has been happening Impact Wrestling news wise. So Melissa Santos, she has appeared at the recent Impact tapings. Yeah, Melissa Santos, she made her official debut this week at Impact Wrestling TV tapings in Mexico City, Mexico. She had made the announcement on her Instagram account that she is the new backstage interviewer. And many of you guys will definitely recall her time being the ring announcer for Lucha Underground. She is just beautifully stunning and magnifico. Heart skips when I see her. She is a pretty Jezebel. They've already taped the Mexico show, so we're not going to dive into anything with regards to that. Now, some of you guys may have just heard me put over Melissa Santos. Well, sadly, there was a Impact Wrestling departure, and that Impact Wrestling departure, backstage interviewer Mackenzie Mitchell, who'd been with the company since 2016. She gave her notice earlier this week during the television tapings in Nashville that she would be leaving the company. So those respected tapings that she did, that was pretty much her last day. So I want to say that it's possible maybe we might see her on one more episode of Impact or maybe two more max. So that would give her a total of 3, but that's really gonna be it for her. So, yeah. And while we're talking about Impact Wrestling, make sure you check out this Tuesday's The RCWR show. That's going to be dropping on Tuesday, January 15th. We'll be live on youtube.com/The RCWR show. Also live via Spreaker and via the RCWR show app. If you aren't able to catch the live audio, once the show is over and done with and I've cleaned it up, edited it, we usually make it available for you guys to listen to on the downloads on demand Wednesday night. But that episode is very important because that's going to be our year-end award show. And we haven't done it in a couple of years. Procrastinating, honestly, and I went into the whole spiel already, so I won't dive on it on this episode, but check it out. It's our award show, and we've got some awesome awards that we're going to be giving. Definitely, it includes a couple of your favorites from Impact Wrestling, so do make sure you check that out. Can't wait to do that show. It's going to be a lot of fun. And other than that, what else can we get into? I know that Don Callis and Anthem Management, they had a meeting during the Impact tapings in Nashville, the TV tapings, and they were talking about how this move to Anthem, it's going to do phenomenal for them. It's going to make their product stronger. It's going to make their product better. And also addressed was the sale rumors. They basically had told the roster, hey, look, you guys are good. Nothing to worry about. Nothing of that magnitude ever happened. You know, basically reassuring them that you guys got nothing to worry about. Anthem, hey, we're fully committed to you guys. We've got your back through and through. Just keep going out there. Do what you need to do. Everything's cool, right? So that basically was it. See, other than that is pretty much it. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to stick a fork in it. We're going to call this DONE done. Let me know what you had thought about the return of this week's Impact Showdown. Any tweaks you'd like to see happen, suggestions, feedback, all types is welcome as always. Be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you may have missed. Keep plugging that RCWR show. Please go check out this week's RCWR show. It was fun doing that. A lot of stuff that we had dived into. A little bit of something for everybody. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. I do appreciate the ton of new follows and likes we've been getting, in particular on our Facebook page. Definitely will be doing a lot more cool content for our Facebook audience in the coming weeks. So that is going to do it. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you give it a like. If you haven't subscribed, do subscribe, all that, so you never miss out. And that will do it. I will catch you guys next go round. Way that this is happening, usually if when Impact Wrestling goes off the air, basically beginning of Saturday morning, if I have the energy, I will be more than happy to fire up my mic and I will record the audio for you guys. Otherwise, I will just drop it early Saturday afternoon for you guys. So, hey, there you go. I will catch you next go round. Everybody be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. You've been checking out Impact Showdown.
Thanks for listening. An Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive.